right, pickle people, we are back. This is another episode of Is This a Pickleball Podcast? I am your host, Matthew K. Pickleball, and I am joined today by my friend from the Arctic, experiencing the icy blizzard that is LA once we see just 10 minutes of rain. Mr. Wilson, how are you today?
I'm doing good. I was actually able to wear a jacket for the first time this half of the year. Yeah, I think it was our first like big rain in a while. So I'm sure it was much appreciated by everyone except for all the pickleball players who could not play today.
Very true. I love to see how native LAers like you and like my girlfriend just react to just a little bit of a drizzle. Like every window in the apartment has to be cranked open so you can just hear this foreign sound, water dripping onto the ground. It's just, she loves it, and it looks like you've been ready to break that vest out. So I'm glad everyone's enjoying the rain. I always get super scared when people are driving out here because their tires
Yes.
are always just dried out. The windshield wipers never moved before, and just folks are crazy. But we survived the rain mayhem. We are here. We have a new podcast, and we're just gonna keep moving. Couple giveaway reminders though. Well, first off, please like and subscribe. That helps the channel. And if you can follow us on your favorite podcast platform, we got a link down in the description. But there are a few giveaway reminders before we move along. We've got a Honolulu notch foam paddle, so make sure you check that video out. We still have a Thrive Fury paddle, and by the time this goes live, you don't have much more time for this one, but a Carbon True Foam Genesis 4 is up for grabs. So make sure you check out those videos and enter those giveaways. And then, Wilson, you don't even know this yet. Super soon, I will be giving away one of my favorite pairs of pickleball shoes from a company called Solace. I'm sure you've seen them on Instagram. They're the kind of like basketball shoes with the high backs, the high tops. I really like them. Really good for ankle support, and they're also a very good deal after promo code Matthew K. But that's gonna have a giveaway. I'll have a giveaway for one of those, so make sure you subscribe and don't miss it. And now let's just move straight into things, Mr. Wilson. I know you're on edge a little bit about what today's pod is about, but
Yeah.
I've got a plan. Don't worry. But
Okay.
first, you got Patagonia on over there. Unfortunately, they have not sent the channel anything, but I would like to do a quick fit check. We've got our friends CrispyDinks sent this very nice. I love this color. Got my long sleeve ready for the rainy weather out here, and then the CrispyDinks hat. Love this thing. But I also wanted to highlight. You saw this. I'm a little bit of a fashionista on the pickleball courts. You know that. And I've been trying out DroopyDrawers. DroopyDrawers. They make shorts. And you might have seen them. They got some funny ads. They come in a million different patterns. And I really like these things. You, as a former runner, would you say you're still runner? I think you might appreciate
Casual runner now.
casual runner. Well, I think they kind of have a background in that. They have like the inner part of the short,
Yeah.
and yeah, I was not familiar with that being
The liner,
just
right?
a pickleballer. Oh yeah, so the first time I wore these, I wore underwear with them, and I oh my gosh, I had so many wedgies on the court. So then I reached out to them and I asked, "What the heck? Are you not supposed to wear underwear? Is this a stupid question?" And they're very nice. DroopyDrawers said, "Matthew K. Pickleball, you're not an idiot, but you're not supposed to wear underwear with these." So they got underwear built in. Very cool. Really enjoyed them. And promo code Matthew K actually knocks 30% off over at DroopyDrawers. So I'll leave a link. But then, since we're talking shorts, I need to tell you, I don't think you know this, Wilson. My daily wearer, and I don't even take them to the pickleball courts that much anymore because I love them so much. These things from Bread and Butter, they are some of my favorite shorts because it's a wild pattern. They go with basically any freaking outfit. because it's such a wild pattern. You can wear any shirt on top of it. And, you know, if you're like Matthew K. Pickleball, you know, he's doing a little work from home, sometimes, you know, drops, you know, some of the hot sauce comes off the taco onto the shorts. And, you know, it's not super obvious. Like, it conceals. It's like food camouflage, this design. And thank you, Bread and Butter, for creating these. I love these shorts. And the food camouflage is very, very appreciated. What do you think? Do you like this pattern?
I do. I actually even like it more in their forward or their kitchen bag. I think at one point they had that as the liner,
Ooh, all
so
right.
so you could find everything inside your bag. So I really like it.
If I'm pro this pattern being everywhere. So if their collab with the Forward is the name of that brand now that makes the cool bags. I just posted their new bag up on Instagram. Folks, if you're not following me on Instagram, go do it right now. But keep the video playing, please. All right. And now let's get to the meat of the program. Except we're not. We got one little sideway. I wanted to do a few gear alerts first. I just posted on the channel a review of EnhancePickleball's DinkMasterPro. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically a giant board that you can use to do drills and practice your dinking. You can practice your speed ups. And EnhancePickleball, they're the folks that made this lovely paddle here, the Gen 4.5. And I know you're a fan of this paddle.
Hmm.
I'm a fan of this paddle. Well, I got a little bit of news, Mr. Wilson. Enhance is coming out with another full foam paddle, but I can't say anything else. I have seen an X-ray.
What a
I have seen
tease,
it.
huh?
What a tease. I have seen an X-ray. It looks very, very unique. I'm excited, but they are coming out with another full foam paddle, and I think following up the Gen 4.5 with another one is crazy smart. I think they're on a roll, but that's not all I know about Enhanced Pickleball. They are coming out with a new version of the DinkMasterPro. You want to know what the big change is?
Yeah.
You do? All right, good, because I'm going to tell you. It now is going to have like a quiet side, like the material that we see on the Quiet Pickleball paddles. That's going to be part of the board, and then it's supposed to be a little bit more portable. And so maybe I can get one and see if that claim works with the apartment life. You know, with the landlords that don't let you have things sitting out in the driveway.
If it's
Maybe it's.
quieter, I might have to check one out myself because
Do you have
I'm
space?
always I will have to find some because if it's a quiet one, that'll be interesting.
All right, all right. Another an apartment dweller is gonna put it to the test. All right. Well, I'm super excited about what Enhance is up to. And then on to the next little bit. Oh, speaking of Enhance, I did also want to highlight their Ninja Balls. Still a huge fan of those. This is my preferred quiet ball. However, when it comes to gear alerts, dude, our friends over at Carbon now have their own take on a quiet ball. And so Enhance is going to have a little competition now. This one's kind of neat because it actually has the indentations, but super, super smushy.
It
They
looks like
feel pretty similar.
it looks more promising than the Franklin Quiet. Well, what is that called? A Quiet Dink or something like that?
Bro, the Quiet Franklin Pickleball, I don't know if that's coming out. It was supposed to be out by now, and it's still not on the website. So
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
what's happening with that thing. But
They
the
heard they
Carbon
were
was.
watching they were watching your review and you were saying how it was so loud when you were to do full drives on it. That's why they decided to postpone it.
Maybe, maybe. I don't know if Matthew K. Pickleball has that much impact. But I am excited to try out Carbons and promo code Matthew K and Matthew K10 works over at Carbon. So definitely check those out. But speaking of pickleballs, I finally got my hands on them. The hard to get lifetime pickleballs. You can grab these on PickleballCentral. If you use my link in the description, you'll get the best price. These things, I don't know if you realize this, Wilson. These are hard to get right now. And I don't know.
I'm still using
for
my
folks that
Franklin
don't,
X40s.
yes, but I mean, yes, but I want to try. I think for us in particular, Wilson, we need to start hitting with some stiffer balls because I think that's going to help us with. We've already talked about this. I think we both want to work a little bit on our sustained volleys or rallies, our hands battles, and really this is going to push us to that because there's the harder balls, you know, there's less of the old school. There's a lot more pinging back and forth with those just by the nature of them. And so I don't know, have you played with, so this is Lifetime's LT Pro 48 Performance Pickleball. Have you hit with one of these before?
No, not yet. So I'm
Oh, you
excited to
haven't?
try it for the first time with you.
All right. Well, folks, subscribe to the channel. We're going to hit these and circle back. But the whole claim to fame is they're very durable and they stay round is the whole thing about them. And so this is like kind of like they're like the company that sells these. My understanding is like it's like they're like fitness studios or
I think they're
facilities that
gym.
they
It's
create.
a gym. Yeah.
Gyms. Okay. I don't know if that's how they like to be described. So I was just
Oh,
trying to be nice with. I have no idea. Like I don't know if those are out where we are, but yeah, Lifetime Fitness like has these balls, and to my knowledge, like I don't know, like all the reviewers have like hit with these, and I don't know if there's another ball like it, but now Pickleball Central carries them, and you can get them without going through like they're hard to get. They are on pre-order though now because they're like super popular, and so we're gonna hit these. We're gonna figure this thing out. Maybe we will finally put the Franklins away. I don't know. I don't know. Time will tell. Time will tell. And now, as I promised, Wilson, I know you didn't know the plan for today's pod, but here it is. All right. I know we had a few technical snafus, and Buffy had a long, prolonged walk before this, but we're here.
that's okay. She
We're po-
deserves
we're
it.
po- yes, we're podcasting, and here's the big question. Are you ready? Will Asia take over pickleball? All right. What comes to mind when I say that, Wilson? What are you thinking right now?
I would have. I think everything. I mean, number one, they got the
Everything.
players. They have the background, the badminton, ping pong, and even the tennis too. And hey, guess what? Most of the paddles are already made there, so
All right.
I'm sure they will beat us in both the skilled and the products they're going to be producing.
Dang, Wilson, you're already giving up. But yes, you kind of like right now. There's a lot of talk about like, the pros have been touring over there, playing games. We're seeing a lot of like of the talent like that's over there. And then if folks remember in my conversation with Pickleball Studio, we talked about how the growth in the states of pickleball had been skyrocketing, but we finally have plateaued. But it's still growing in Asia. But the thing that I think has been a little bit overlooked is for the longest time, U.S. paddle companies have been utilizing Chinese manufacturing to like really produce their paddles, and that sort of came to the forefront. I did a whole podcast interview with Larry over at Kiwi Labs, the owner of Kiwi Labs, and that really came to the forefront when all the tariffs talks started about how like the industry is really leaning on Chinese manufacturing for their paddles. But it had always been U.S. brands for the most part. But that's where things I've clocked have started to change. Asia has a lot of brands popping up that are speaking to U.S. audiences now. And I wanted to do a rundown of some of the ones that are on my radar. And then, sort of, folks, down in the comments, let me know which of these you want us to explore more on the channel. And I actually have it broken down. It's not all China companies. I'm covering multiple countries. So let's just get to it. The first one I wanted to talk about is a brand I've actually known about for a long time. This is EverydaySocial, and they come out of Japan. And so I've known about their paddles for a long time because they're just freaking beautiful. So they're called EverydaySocial, and initially they in Japan, the pickleball scene, at least when they started out, was more geared for indoor play, more geared for pickleball with gymnasium floors using 26-hole indoor balls. And so initially they did edgeless paddles, and they look beautiful, but in the States, out here in California, we're bashing everything, and edgeless paddles, they just, they don't hold up quite as much, but they have now started branching out into more traditional edge guard paddles that are still very beautiful. But Japan, or EverydaySocial, the Japanese paddle company, they are actually looking at paddles a little bit differently. They're doing small batches, and when a small batch sells out, the paddle can be gone forever. And so it's kind of more of looking at it as a crafted good as opposed to mass produced good that will come forever and ever. And they're very focused on design. They have some of the coolest pickleball accessories and apparel you can find. I absolutely love their branding and their style, but they've now got some Gen 2 paddles with edge guards, and this one we already looked at, but this is another one that is, you don't see many paddles that look like that. And then they also have just a really beautiful end cap. You can't see it too well on camera, but really focused on the details. And they are working on some new power paddles. They're working with USAP, or they're trying to get the USAP approval. The last I chatted with them, but I haven't seen any of these out at open play out here. Folks, if you've hit with a paddle from EverydaySocial, comment below what you think. And then I think we should go hit some of these and circle back and let folks know what they're like. But I want to just cover all the different countries. We're going to go country by country. And so I don't think Japanese paddle companies are talked about much at all. And now South Korea is on the scene as well with a company called PicklePoppers. And they're claiming to be the first Korean pickleball brand, and they're doing it a little bit different, at least when they started out. They're really focused on the fun of pickleball. We're always talking about the fun of pickleball, but they have
I think
two
they're
paddles
giving
that really
bread and butter their run for their money.
exactly, because you've got them. Their packaging is very reminiscent of bread and butter. You get a gift box and goodies inside. And these two paddles, we're actually both going to be testing these out. This one here is the Pop and Frost, so an elongated 60 millimeter paddle, carbon fiber face. And this one is the standard shape, or that really nice flared wide body that I like. This one's the Pop and Tango, 60 millimeter with a carbon fiber Kevlar face. And yeah, they both feel very good out of the box, or seem like really well made. Everything on paper looks great. I love the feel of the handle. So we're going to hit with these. And I think they're really focused on this playful branding and having a lot of little, having a really nice unboxing experience. I'll try to link a video. I did some unboxings on the channel. So really good paddles that for gifts. I do think they've gotten some feedback. I think they're working on some paddles that have a little less intense branding. I don't know how I would say that. less
Subtle
playful, more
brandings.
serious. Yeah, more subtle branding, exactly. But one thing that I really wanted to show, so the way the boxes work when you get a paddle, you can get an accessory. You don't always know what it will be, but if you have the luck of getting this one, this is a little pouch. Like if you're into what are those little monster keychains that Labubu?
Labubu? Yeah.
Is that what they're called? Yeah. So like
Yeah.
if you're into Labubu and trying to decorate your bags, get everything hanging and dangling, they call it a coin pouch. But you know what this is for me? You know what this is, Wilson? This is
What do
Buffy's
you
treat
use it for?
pouch.
Oh, nice.
Buffy's
Uh,
treats. I use this for Buffy's treats. Put it on the old leash, and she always has her treats right there. Yeah. So I'm really
um,
liking that.
Side note, I found out that it fits a pickleball in there. So FYI for those people who want to keep a, a hidden
Ooh,
pickleball at the ready on
ooh.
their bags. Yeah, it fits one pickleball.
Oh, that's awesome. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Is Buffy's treat holder going to get retired? I didn't know I could
Oh
have an
no.
emergency pickleball pouch. But so that one is South Korea PicklePoppers. And then that's not it. Vietnam's in on the action. We've talked about them before.
Hmm.
It is our friends over at Sypik, and QD reps them pretty hard. They've got the Triton, which I haven't hit this one. I believe this is Gen 3 style, but I have been put in the Avatar through its paces. Been hitting with this one a ton. This this is, I feel, one of all the foam paddles I've been testing out, this one is very easy to shape your shots. I know you've hit with it. Why don't you remind us what you think of it?
Yeah, it's a great Gen 4 foam paddle. It does have the power, and I don't know, I like the feel of it. It's more on the dense side. It's not hollowy, it's not super rigid. It it still has its soft playable yet still powerful feeling. I think it's not bad. I just the only problem is I wish it was a little more easier to get.
Yeah, so it's pretty hard to get. I did get set up over at a New York and Long Island based store called SpinWave Pickleball. Promo code Matthew K does work with them, and so you could pick one up there. They ship everywhere, and I think I mentioned at SpinWave you can get your paddle customized by them. Like they'll add overgrip edge tape, but what they'll also do, which is I think the real thing to highlight, is they'll install a Hessicore or a slice speed cap, or they also do engraving and some of that stuff. Installing those things, people just like it's torture, and so it's pretty cool that you could just have them do it. But so yeah, check them out. I'll leave a link down in the description. But yeah, I was enjoying this paddle. I did have to beef the grip up a little bit more after my first session. I did notice like I was maybe squeezing a little too hard, because this is a heavier paddle. And so I don't have a tennis elbow issue, but I did notice I was like, that doesn't feel exactly right. And so I beefed up the overgrip, and still it felt a little like I'm used to hybrids, and then I was playing with all those. I was playing with the Quanta, no weight on it, elongated Quanta, and so this felt a little heavy still for my personal preference. And so I'm experimenting. So PickleballEffect has their own butt cap weight. PickleballEffect calls them coins, cap coins. And yeah, it's a little bit different than the ones I'm used to, but he's a great, everyone knows PickleballEffect as like a content creator, like does great content, does a lot of work for the pickleball community, and has lots of good products. He does the weight, the tuning tape, over grips. But these, I think, I'm really enjoying these CapCoins. And what's cool about them is you can get a little sample pack that has a 6 gram one, a 9 gram one, and a 12 gram one. And I think that's pretty neat to just order one, and then you can go through the different weights. And after promo code MatthewK, that is only it's less than $20, I believe. So yeah, some pretty cool offerings. If you don't know, folks, adding some weight to your handle, it will shift the balance point down, but it also just makes it feel less heavy, and that's what I was kind of trying to improve for me, make this feel a little lighter in the hands for me. And I didn't have any issues with the pop, and so I didn't want to add weight down here and mess that up. So it's a way to sort of keep your paddle head performing the way it does out of box, but adjusting how it feels in your hands. And so yeah, I'm enjoying this one. A review is in the works. What were you gonna say, Wilson?
No, I just wanted to agree with you there. It's a powerful paddle, but the pop is really controllable. It's nothing too crazy. It's not like the boomstick or anything. It's a fun paddle to play with.
Yeah, it is pricey, but yeah, I don't know. Vietnam is maybe paying QD a lot. I have no idea. They gotta make their get some money for that salary, I guess. But and then now, here's the juggernaut. We've talked about some of the other countries in Asia that are like trying to push into the U.S. market as a paddle brand, but I think China, obviously, that's where a lot of factories are. So if they can create their own brands, like I think they're gonna give U.S. companies a serious run for their money. And one company that we've talked a little bit about already is WarpingPoint. I believe you've hit with this paddle.
The neon? Oh yes.
This is the neon, yeah.
I do like that one very much. I think it's their Gen 3 their take on their Gen 3 paddles. It's hybrid, so it's not my preferred shape, but it feels really good. It's very controllable, but it's a nice little adds a nice little pop to it. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I guess you got
I'm
the green and orange colorway. I really like their blue and purple or blue and pink colorway. That was actually on this spot.
all
Yeah.
right. All right. So I don't think this is a hybrid paddle. It's
No,
elongated with the arrow curve, if I remember right. But it is
I don't
it's long,
know.
and I'm the thing
Elongated
is
is my shape, dude.
all right. We'll check the
I felt like it
dimensions.
was, yeah. We'll see who's
We'll
right.
check. We'll check. We'll roast the other on the next
S-
pod. So make sure you subscribe so
Someone
you can see.
someone in the comment will say, "Do your research, Matt."
I know, I know, guys. First off, Wilson can't even see what I'm holding up. Like we're what you call a thrifty pickleball podcast, and we're trying to get as much production as we can without like we're looking at trying to get Wilson a light. And so we're doing a little experiment today. He can't really see what's going on, but I'm pretty certain this is elongated, but we'll check. We'll circle back. And I'm actually not certain it's Gen 3, but I'll look into that, Wilson. But I do know you thought it had some good power to it. So,
Hmm.
but a paddle I do know from Warping Point. So Warping Point, what the whole point of that was, so they actually came out with like some cookie cutter paddles. And they do have like some supposedly, like if you read up on the company, they do have some. Their story does posit that like they have some U.S. origins. They have an Italian person involved, and so I don't really have a way to verify like the company's story and how it originated. But they are upfront that they're now like have it is a there's a Chinese stake in the company now that has been communicated. And so initially they had like some generic paddles, but now they're really pushing out some unique ones. It started with a paddle called the Nightblade, which we haven't really talked about on this channel. It had a crazy like swing weight of 125, and it was utilizing foam-filled cells. And I've talked about that kind of foam paddle build before, which I guess it would be called Gen 3. A paddle from a company called Nexus does something similar. It's not like the most common way to make paddles, and it makes them really heavy. And these newer foam paddles, I think, are a better approach. But after the Nightblade, they were releasing other paddles, and one that I have been testing out, and I will be releasing a video on this one, is their Aether paddle, Aether. This thing is super cheap. After promo code MatthewK knocks off 25%, it's like $75. It's got USAP approval. It's utilizing 10mm cells, Kevlar 3K weave, and this paddle has got that classic flare shape. Love this. And this is probably in today's market like a control paddle, but that 10mm cells in a Gen 2 build is not super common. And after playing with the RubyPro for so much, and that video is coming out soon, I'm still loving these super wide cells. The RubyPro has even wider cells than this, but this is one I think is an easy recommend to get in your bag. It really cups on the ball really nicely. And then they have a whole nother line of paddles called the Rhythm line. You've hit with one of them. Very similar to the other paddle, the Aether, but these are even cheaper. This is $60, and they do claim that it's not using the same hot press construction as the Aether, but is heat sealed. I do like that they differentiate how they're constructing the paddles, but to be honest, I didn't really notice a lot of difference. But the thing about this
is the rhythm line also UPA approved?
Exactly. So this is like
Nice.
probably the cheapest way to get a UPA approved paddle, $60, and they have it in like all the shapes. You got the Aero Curve hybrid shape. You should probably hit with this one, the more traditional elongated, and then they even have a standard. And guys, companies, what the heck? Are we forgetting about standard shape paddles? Like, where are these? Like, come on, let's make sure we got these. And so I think WarpingPoint is a good example of like how a company based in China can really compete on price because they have direct access to the factories. And then if you look at WarpingPoint's site, you can see some of their older releases, and you can see that they quickly within this year iterated and really worked to bring some performance paddles to market based off of what they were doing at the start. And so that's a really good example. But now this is one that's gotten us into a little bit of hot water. Another company, which I'm pretty certain is a Chinese company, but it's not as clear as with WarpingPoint. Because WarpingPoint, if you go digging around on their site, you find out where they're upfront about where they're based. But this company, we've talked quite a bit. Famous, came onto the scene with the cannon. This is LuzzPickleball. I think this is a Chinese company. We talked about this on the last podcast, which kind of kicked this theme off. Now, Luzz does claim they're headquartered in the U.S., and that is some semantics, like language there. I can't figure out where they're actually based. The only person on LinkedIn that I could find associated with Luzz, I believe, is based in China. My email communications with Luzz, there's been some Chinese characters and subject lines and different things, different clues that make me feel they are a Chinese company. But certainly I looked on Google Maps, like the building that is listed as their HQ does exist, but I don't know if that's really if they're a US based company or not. But you hit with I'm working on a big video. I will be covering the Cannon, covering the Inferno,
I just want to
and
say
covering
US
the Tornado.
those three paddles are great, but I just wanted to say that even though US based or not, they are producing some pretty good paddles. Enough where professional players are are using their paddles when they're not able to use their sponsors' paddles because of the UPA approval. Because their three paddles are UPA and USAP certified, so you can use them in any tournament, really.
Yeah, and I think very similar to Warping Point, I've been familiar with Luzz for a long time, but it wasn't until relatively recently they had a lot of like also seemingly like cookie cutter paddles, although they've always been very into like some like fun designs and things like that. But it's only recently where they have three paddles that have even gotten the attention of the big reviewers now. Like we've been talking about Luzz for forever, but
Hmm.
now everyone's talking about them. I mean, the pros using them in those tournaments definitely helped put a magnifying glass on them. But I think it's just another example of a company yeah, I mean, it's going to be a challenge. I do think they have their price more to what U.S. market prices are used to. At least their performance paddles, and so I don't know, Wilson. I just ran through, folks. First off, definitely comment down below which of these companies you're most interested in us hitting their paddles and coming back and letting you know how they perform. And if there are some other companies that I've missed that are upfront or maybe not upfront about being Asia based, let me know. And I'll try and let's grow this map out bigger. And I don't know, what do you think? Do you think this competition is good for the consumer? It's definitely going to put U.S. companies on their toes. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think competition is always good for the market and for the consumers. Number one, you will be getting more, I feel like personally, more affordable paddles out there with better tech. And you get more options. I mean, I remember seeing something about um, or someone saying something about how with all the UPA certification and all the other certifications that are required nowadays, it would kind of narrow a lot of the kind of knock out all the small brands and keep all the big brands in the market. But I don't think that's the case. I mean, Warping Point has UPA approval. Luzz has UPA approval. Um, there's a lot of other companies with UPA approval. So, I mean, it's just a different market out there. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely like this approach, like the companies we've just highlighted. I like how they are trying to come to the US market where we are embracing sort of the standards that we're trying to push regarding approvals, regarding power. I also appreciate that there doesn't appear to be overt intellectual property theft. I mean, I can't speak to the internals, but like we've seen companies in the U.S., they're always utilizing the menu from factories and how the factories get certain tech. That could be a whole episode, but I appreciate like these aren't like what we're seeing from Timu and Alibaba, where they're literally like trying to rip off paddles brands and pose that like sell them as if they were like a Honolulu paddle when it's not a Honolulu paddle, or a Yola when it's not. And so I do like that there are now companies coming out of Asia that are bringing their own take on the industry on paddle design. Like I go back to like are the Japanese paddles we just pointed out, like that's like nothing we've seen before in the States. And then so I think finding how they're what makes them unique and their perspective, and then bringing that to the States is super cool. But yeah, I'm excited to see. I think what you just said, the competition is good, and as long as it's like fair competition, I'm excited. We could get into a whole discussion regarding like labor and whatnot, but U.S. companies are already utilizing these factories, and so I think it's the conversation, we've simplified it a bit because we've been supporting these other brands for so long.
Also, real quick, uh, there are a lot of people who are worried about like certification and approvals and everything. And I think the main takeaway for me is that UPA approved paddles, um, they only it only affects the pros or the people playing pro qualifiers. Um, they don't even affect all of the PPA tournament. Like if you're playing amateur, anything below challenger or the pro level um, tournaments, you can use USAP approved paddles. So just FYI, just FYI, for everyone out there, you don't have to buy a UPA approved paddle for um, your local tournament or anything. So yeah, just to
Yeah,
clear
I,
up the air a little bit.
yeah, I definitely think that was understood. And then I feel folks have started playing pickleball in the last year that didn't learn the sport with just USAP and are a little
Mm,
confused about what UPA is as a
mm,
regulating body. And so I definitely think we don't have enough time to really go into that today.
yeah.
But yeah, there, that's like an internal sort of a division of like who's gonna um, yeah, that's a rival regulation board with lots of backstory. UPA is a rival regulation board with lots of backstory that is trying to move in on the territory that USAP has traditionally been involved with. And so a lot of nuance, and that's a big combo, and we don't have time for it today. So we are going to move on because we have hit on some big topics kind of outside of our typical pickleball space. Lots of things to mull over. Who knew buying a paddle had so many things to think about, Wilson? Who knew? And that brings us to, well, what the heck? Why don't we just talk about what we're testing right now? This segment is presented by our friends over at SwiftNet. If you're looking for the best portable pickleball net, one that's made out of aerospace grade carbon fiber, if you need to build a rocket ship out of your pickleball net, you gotta look at SwiftNet. Promo code MatthewK will get you the best price over there. I'll be sure to leave a link down in the description. And that brings us, Mr. Wilson, I know you've been hitting with some paddles. I've been hitting with some paddles. I don't know where my paddles went. I have a whole box of paddles that I've just here they are. There. If that was a snake, it would have bitten me. Anyway, I have been putting a lot of time. Someone commented on the last podcast, you say words funny, Matthew. Are you from Canada? And then I had to explain. They were very nice about it, actually. I had to explain I'm originally from Arkansas, and I say some things like in Arkansas still, even though I've been in California more than half my life at this point. But we do things differently
Wait,
down in Arkansas.
before we continue about to what paddles we're testing, the gear we're testing right now. How do you say toilet?
I'm not saying it. So that was one of my biggest anxieties about the bread and butter tournament was that loser bracket was what you just said, bowl competition. And I knew I would have to talk about that on the podcast. So I've trained myself. All right, it's toilet bowl. All right.
Yeah.
But I used to say toilet bowl. And so that
No,
is not.
that's nothing.
So now I have to just really think about it. Well, there are other words. There are things. When I moved out to California, when I moved into my dorm, I would say y'all. And people would call me out on it, and they made me feel embarrassed. And guys, don't be embarrassed if you say something different. That just makes you unique. But I had a lot of insecurity back then. That was pre-talk therapy, folks. If you need a therapist, go look for one. But and so I really trained myself to not say y'all. And I took that away. I tried to speak like a Californian. And then fast forward 10 years, everyone out here is saying y'all because it can, like, the internet embraced it. And now I feel like such a fool. I was ahead of the curve. But anyway, all right. Enough of that. We are going to talk paddles. All right, y'all. I've been hitting with the Ruby Pro from SixZero. My review, Wilson, you won't believe this. I actually finished writing it. It is written. I'm going to
Nice.
record it. It's going to be posted. With that review, I will be doing a giveaway for the those pickleball shoes I just mentioned, which I always forget how you pronounce it. They pronounce it. Do you know how you pronounce it? So lace
Oh,
shoes. Those are the high tops. I said it. I used to say it
yeah.
wrong, and so now once again, maybe that's the Arkansan in me not knowing how to talk. I'm just kidding, guys. Us Arkansans, we know how to talk, so please don't call me out. We just say a few things differently. So this review is gonna have a giveaway for those shoes. Make sure you subscribe. And yeah, I just mentioned that when we were talking about those wide cells on the Aether paddle. Love this paddle. And if you want to know everything I think about it, definitely subscribe and check out that review. But you have been hitting with some paddles that I've been trying to get on the channel for a while. We got the gearboxes. So this is the GX2 and this is the GX2 Power. All right, bro. Tell me what's up with these paddles. People love the
Yeah.
Power. So what this is the SST core. So yeah, how were they?
Yeah, I like they were not bad paddles at all. Um, I I heard that the GX2 non-power was really lacking in power. However, I didn't feel that when I was playing with it. It felt fine. It was, I would say, on the lower spectrum of the power category. Um, but it wasn't anything to complain about really. And I liked how gearboxes felt. It 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 was really plush feeling, I guess. But then and then you move on to the GX2 Power, and you do notice an increase in power, definitely. But it was very controllable. I would say they were pretty low on the pop scale. They were really fun to play with at the kitchen line. But
Okay.
when you're in the back and you want to do a drip or a drive, that power was definitely there. I do like that they went with the edge guard design because I did try to play with the Pro Powers, and I like other people have said before, I don't think Edgeless is quite there yet. The edge guard definitely helps with the stability. And yeah, that GX2 power is definitely something fun to play with. What did you think?
All right. Well, I haven't hit with these just yet. Not too much. And so I'm going to reserve my thoughts. As you know, I've been catching up. I'm in the middle. I'm almost at the end of all the reviews I've been working on. And so I'm glad you're able to hit with them because people are always asking. And so the thing though about that sort of differentiates Gearbox from all the rest is like their SST core technology, which was utilized in the PPE, which I have reviewed, and the other Ultimate, their old edgeless paddles. Very unique, very protected. Like that technology, I don't think we're gonna see it ripped off. And
Hmm.
then their big claim is that they're super durable. And I've seen lots of folks, even with the edgeless ones, freaking bang those around. I mean, there's a guy at my where I play rec play that he would hit him on the ground, and they do crack open, but it played really well. Like it'd be falling apart, and he'd still be whacking. And so, yeah, Gearbox, those things are durable. And so we're going to cover them more on the channel. I think what I'm going to try and do is do a little video that breaks down their different lines since I'm so behind. But yeah, I know you've been hitting with some others, including a new release. Yes, folks, on the Matthew K. Pickleball YouTube channel, we do hit new paddles. You got some time with the new Diadem EdgeBlucore. You're playing with the other shape. I don't know if you have those with you, but you
Yes,
want
yes, I do.
to. I can't remember if we already talked about this one, but first off, just look at that pattern. Like, this is a very pretty paddle. Lots of detail. You want to just give folks a little
Yeah,
reminder what you thought
we
about
did
these?
talk about it last podcast, but I can give you guys a quick, super quick run through. Yeah, so these are definitely an upgrade to the previous blue cores. The design looks better, the feel is better. But one thing I noticed that the this Pro 14, the 14 millimeter one, um, for some reason it felt really flexible. I think I'll have to have you try it, Matt, to see if you feel the same way about it. Yeah, it just felt really flexible in the throat, which was really interesting. And then the this 16 millimeter edge elongated blue core edge. I don't know how to, is it edge blue core? Anyways, um, yeah, the 16 millimeter felt like a more traditional foam paddle, but it had the power. Both of them felt relatively soft, so the pop was very low, I would say. I didn't have any issues with them playing with them at the kitchen line. Dinks were controlled. Pop-ups were minimal. Yeah, they are something that everybody should try, at least try to demo to see if they like it. They're very
Who
controllable foam paddles.
who would you recommend them to? Like, what kind of
Who
player?
would I recommend them to? Um, who would tennis players.
Anyone?
They
Ten-
I would say tennis players because these are great at the baseline. They are very fun to play with. At the hmm, yeah, I would say tennis players or someone with some
All
racket
right.
sport
I
experience.
mean,
They should give
that kind of
these a
makes
try.
sense. That kind of makes sense
Yeah.
since Diadem does come from other racket sports.
Yeah.
All right, makes sense. And then we finally got at them. We've been trying. We got the Adidas paddles, the new ones. I haven't gotten to hit with they. So it comes in
Mhm.
this standard shape, and then Wilson has the two elongated.
Yeah.
One's 14, one's 16 millimeter, and
Yep.
this is their take on Gen 3. So foam enhanced polypropylene core. That is one of my preferred paddle construction styles. I love the way Gen 3 paddles play. Typically, you get really controllable soft game because you got your traditional polypropylene, but you get enhanced put away power on overheads, and you get enhanced power when you activate it on drives and hard serves. But Mr. Wilson is someone that hits with elongated paddles quite a bit, and he has a much more power forward game than me. So what the heck did you think of these two? Do we have a metal bone catastrophe on our hands, or what? Is this a
I
hit?
don't.
What's going on?
I mean, they definitely feel better than the metal bone. Someone at the park had a metal bone that I was able to try,
Yeah.
and these do feel better. However, I think they dropped the ball again, unfortunately.
What?
It's
What do you
just
mean?
it's just the little things. So, all right, so I have the elongated 14 and elongated 16. Let's start off with the 16. It's number one, the grip is super fat, and it's not even the same size as the 14. It's number one, super fat. The sweet spot's kind of small. Granted, I put in only about 4 or 5 hours, 2 sessions in with both of them. Um, and maybe they need to be opened up a little bit, broken in, but the sweet spot's definitely small. And for the 16, it's really heavy. It reminds me of the V Core, the Vatic V Core, the one that they did not release. People were saying that it was
Okay.
really heavy. This is something like that too. It really feels like a hammer. I usually play with a 16 millimeter, and I had to really put this one down and go with a 14. This 14 millimeter, number one, the grip felt a little better, still chunky, but manageable. Um, but the head heaviness, I guess, is swing weight, right, Matt?
Yeah.
This 14 millimeter felt like a 16 millimeter elongated. It was still heavy, but it was manageable. So this you must have to hit the gym in order to play with this 16 millimeter elongated Adidas paddle. But yeah, I had to step down and use a 14 millimeter to even be able to play with it.
All
And
right.
yeah, same thing too. Sweet spot's a little on the small side. Might need to play with it some more to see if it opens up or breaks in a little bit. But yeah, these aren't really wowing me. I don't know. I think you need to try yours to tell everyone what you
Yeah,
think. Yeah.
I'll try it out. I know I'm a bigger fan of Gen 3 than you. I
Mm.
feel. And so I'm
I've
gonna hit
grown
with
to
them.
really like the foam paddles. I've adapted a
Yes.
little bit.
Yeah. So I think maybe I am probably a potentially better audience for them. I will say I do know on paper they have high swing weights, and then feeling them, they've got very beefy grips, and it's all the telltale signs. I've seen this with other paddle companies. We've actually talked about this. I think the crew that they're using to test these paddles to sort of make their decisions, I think they're probably all men and higher level players. The telltale is the fat grip. And I've seen other paddle companies do that before. And then when they go try to appeal to a wider consumer base, they quickly realize, okay, you got to slim the grip down. So other players that like slim grips and women and folks that don't go to the gym as much can grip it the way they're used to. And then they're tuned. It sounds like they're tuned for power. Like right now, lots of players are like taking the Quantas and just wrapping those with so much freaking weight. Like so, if you're a person that really likes weighty paddles, like I wouldn't dismiss these outright. But yeah, I think they're probably geared for like I know there some pros using these, and so they might be out. We just might be too weak, Wilson. These we might
Probably.
have to go.
I mean,
We might have to get jacked for these. All right,
but it's not
maybe
even
I'll.
just it's not just the head heaviness or the swing weight. It's the grip is just absurdly fat, especially on the
Yeah.
16 millimeter
Well,
versions of them. I'll have to measure them. I know they're both different sizes for sure.
yeah. I mean, they do. Yeah, these are hefty grips. Which I used to hit with super hefty grips, so maybe I can get back into that mindset. But yeah, time will tell. We still got some more testing to do. Those are just first impressions, and it doesn't help that we probably have all the biases that the Adidas paddles bring with it, which is kind of like. So I think we'll have to check that at the door. I'm gonna dive in more as well. But I do think a counterpoint to that is from a smaller brand, or I guess I don't know if they're a smaller pickleball brand, but not associated with a mega brand like Adidas, and that's our friends over at Gherkin, the folks known for the silicone edge guard. They are doing another kind of like Adidas, their own flavor of Gen 3. And I think I've talked on the pod already. These are out, or they're now available. These are, I mean, I guess not Adidas level, but these have some heft to them. I'm kind of used to like lighter weight, lighter feeling Gen 3. And so for someone that is more power paddle oriented. Like, what do you think of this? You've
Uh,
been playing with the elongated. I've got the
yeah.
hybrid.
I definitely like I like the Gherkin a lot more than the Adidas pedal. Granted, like you said, the Adidas was a first impression. I've had like 2 weeks on this, and I've been purposely trying to play with it more. This definitely feels pretty good. It feels, even though you're right, it feels heftier. I think it's like over 8 ounces stock when I put it on the kitchen scale before I wrapped it up. But it's feels relatively balanced. So yes, it feels really dense and kind of it's stiff. It's a stiff feeling paddle. It's not hollowy or anything. Like a YOLO or what you would, think Gen 3 would sound like. Um, but it's well balanced. It's definitely not
Okay.
on the super powerful side. The pop and power are like middle tier, middle in the middle of the power spectrum. Pop might be a little lower, on the lower end. But I do like the balance. The main takeaway of this GherkinWraith is that it feels really balanced. I really like playing with it. I don't have to worry about, being too poppy or powerful or anything. It's really well balanced.
All right. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it has a super unique feel, especially for a Gen 3. Their take on Gen 3 is a little bit different. But the thing to really highlight is it's just a really good deal. After promo code Matthew K, it's about 120 bucks,
Oh,
which is a very good value for a Gen 3. And if you're like afraid of like a Gen 3 paddle like being too propulsive or whatnot, I do think like this does hold on to the ball. Like I do feel they're very controllable. Um and yeah, so I think it's a great addition to Gherkin's line. And so yeah, I think I'm excited to get some more playtime on them. And now, Mr. Wilson, it is time.
yeah.
I know you've been hiding this puppy from me, testing this out, but you finally relinquished it. You gave it back, and I've gotten some time on this. And last week you're talking about this, and so what is your take? But I'll share my take on this in a moment. Like I've only done a few hits, but I was surprised. But you've been hitting with Bread and Butter's Loco as well,
Hmm.
and so I was
Hmm.
thinking, I don't know, do you have that on you
Not on me,
in
but
front
my
of you?
monitor is off, so
No
you gotta
worries, no
tell
worries.
me what you have in your hand.
I'm holding the Labs Boomstick,
The
Selkirk
boomstick.
Boomstick.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, guys. This is once again when we're DIYing this podcast. Wilson doesn't even know what I'm holding up. What the heck, man? You didn't hear the boom when
We're
it came
we're
on
we're,
camera, dude?
we're trying something very new this podcast. If you follow Matt, his Instagram, maybe I'll share what my setup looks like later today.
Guys, he's using his wife's plant lights right now to illuminate him because we had daylight savings out here in California, and last episode this guy was in pitch black, and so we're
Matt was like,
trying
"Get
here.
out of
But
the
anyway,
closet, turn on the light,
yeah.
please."
All right, but I got to hit with the boomstick. You had this for a beat, and so I was thinking, why don't you tell folks? Because I'm gonna give my first impression. But first, you've been hitting with the Loco from Bread and
Hmm.
Butter, which lots of
Hmm.
folks have been like kind of comparing to Selkirk's Labs boomstick. Do you want
Yeah.
to give us your take?
Yeah, like I said previously, I put in a good amount of time, maybe 10 or 12 hours in the with the Loco, and I think that's going to become my main. My previous main, for those who don't know, was the Gen 3 Packle. But that one is starting to die, like I guess it's starting to go on the decline of the performance.
The Packle?
So yeah, the Packle, because I've been playing in a couple of tournaments and money balls with it, but I feel like it's starting to decline in performance. So I'm
Well,
glad,
Wilson,
huh?
you know how you can fix that?
Get another
You
one?
know how you can fix that? No, well, you could do that, but stop hitting the sweet spot. Hit on other parts of the paddle, and then it will last longer. You gotta play more like me, like spread
Smart.
out your hits. But all right, so
Uh,
you're upgrading. You're upgrading to the Loco, full Gen 4.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
So it's full foam. It's initially I didn't really like it. It felt really stiff, and the sweet spot felt kind of small to me. But then after I put in a couple of hours, not too much, but it really opened up. It softened up a little bit. It felt like it was able to cradle or cradle the ball a little more. The pop was controllable, but the power was really nice at the baseline and putaways. It definitely had that power, that putaway power, and even without any weights on it. So if I ever decide to put any weights on it, it might even become a boomstick equivalent. But it is a little
Alright.
swing weight for the elongated that I have is a little high, so I probably won't be adding too much weight to it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's one of the main reasons since I got the boomstick while I was away. And then everyone dropped their videos, and I didn't really have a chance to hit with this, but I'm actually kind of trying to hit with this now, even though like probably everyone's done searching for those videos. But that's my channel. I always post a video, 2 months after release. I'm hitting with this because I also want to do a side by side or compare it to how the Bread and Butter's Loco plays. And so I haven't hit with those too much. I did hit with the prototype before, but I'm going to be hitting with those soon. But I wanted to get a little bit of a vibe check on the boomstick. And Wilson, I really enjoyed hitting with the boomstick. For me, I was expecting pop I couldn't control, like because they add these weights. Like I got scared, and I keep hearing like everyone loved this when it came out, and I was like, I know those guys. They all like the poppiest, most powerful thing you can hit with. But so I pull this out at open play, and all of a sudden, I was actually with you, and a couple of our friends were there, and then I was like, oh man, I haven't played in a week. I was busy with work. But now we got the crew together. We had to break the GoPro out and get some play footage, and you were actually returning this, so I could start hitting with it. I was just planning to have a chill, just hit around with some paddles. But now all of a sudden it becomes a test session, and I break this thing out, and I really enjoyed it. First off, it was not what I expected, and what I was expecting was paddle that was super propulsive with exaggerated dramatic dwell on soft hits that then shot the ball off, and that is not what I got. At least that's my first. Well, no, that's not what happened. I was able to keep my dinks right at the line without adjusting the weight, and so obviously it's probably helpful that they have tuned the paddle for me, but it was not. It played in the soft game pretty straightforward. I didn't have to change my timing. I wasn't getting frustrated. But then what I did notice and what our friend noticed was, bro, from the baseline, this thing booms. Little weak Matthew over here, he was sailing the balls. And the next thing that I really liked was, okay, after I calibrated this surface, like this new affinity grit, like I haven't really hit with Selkirk paddles that much. And I was like, what the heck is this thing? This isn't what I'm used to. But man, that thing it hits the ball, but I was able to finesse everything to eventually stay in. Like it wasn't like I need to put this paddle back in the bag and go weight this up before I test it. I was able to adjust, and so I'm really impressed. My first impression is I'm really impressed. I was liking the boomstick. So for a baby hitter like me, I was like an avatar all of a sudden for somebody else. Like I wasn't Matthew K. Pickleball out there. I don't know who I was, but I was hitting deep. It was really cool. I felt like I had my Superman cape on all of a sudden. So we'll see if I can really manage this thing. But it didn't scare me like hitting with this. Like it's not how I remember like back in the long time ago when I would like hit with a overly powerful paddle, and I was like, oh, I'll never be able to control this. Like maybe I'm just like have improved and become like a super amazing player and I can just hit with any pat. No, I'm just kidding. I know that's not the case, but yeah, very impressed. Now that I've rambled. So yeah, but you played with me on this. Like, how do you think I did with it?
Yeah, you definitely had a few
You're like,
more.
you sucked, Matthew.
No, you got a few more miles per hour in your drives. But like you said, it's very controllable, especially at the kitchen. It's it's very controllable power, surprisingly, considering it's called a boomstick, right? And everybody and
Yeah,
it is, I think for a lot of people, it's rated as like one of the most powerful paddle that they've used. It's surprisingly very controllable, very friendly.
yeah,
I remember that I just needed a couple of the first couple of points. I was hitting like balls a little bit long, but it was really easy to dial in, I would say, and it's very it. And once I dialed it in, it was fine. It was totally playable.
yeah,
I remember, power paddles were you either you get power and you completely lose control. Like for example, the Pro Power. I remember that thing. If you hit perfectly, it would be like a cannon. If you hit the sweet spot perfectly, it would be a cannon. But if you hit anything else other than the sweet spot, it would just die, or it would just you would miss hit and anything. But this one, sweet spot was big, dinks were controllable, drives are amazing. It's like playing pickleball on autopilot. So I would
ooh,
say that,
wow,
yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah.
was really natural. It just worked out. Is it worth $300? I don't know about that, but it was fun playing with it.
Fair enough. And then I know we look at different things with when we say a paddle's controllable. The one thing that I'm learning I'm the most sensitive to is flat, soft hits at the kitchen. And I mentioned how dinking with this thing, like they were going right to the edge of the kitchen, but not past the kitchen, so not where someone could hit it out of the air and smack me in the teeth too super easily.
Low
And
launch angle, right?
I'm sorry. Exactly. Yes.
There you
the
go.
the forbidden topic. But yeah, I noticed these didn't have a super steep launch angle or flight path off the face. All things equal on a flat, low powered hit, and so that's really what I'm like. Really, that's the thing that I'm very sensitive to. If there's a super steep launch angle, I would say the original carbon true foam Genesis is an example of that. And there are lots of reasons why I think that's the case. And that's why I think that paddle plays better with weight. And the Genesis. But yeah, very impressed with this. More to come. And that sort of we're running out of time. And so I think I'll highlight just one other thing and then we'll wrap up. But I am hitting or testing out some new shoes. I'm testing out XeroShoes. These are actually pickleball shoes. Is that how you say it?
Yeah,
XERO?
zero. Yeah.
So these are Zero's basketball shoes. And as I was mentioning earlier about some other pickleball shoes, you get that high ankle support. I freaking love the way they look. And they sit super, super low to the ground. That's kind of what they're known for. And then they're made for your toes being fully splayed out and comfort driven and being ergonomical and all of that. And yeah, I've really been enjoying these. I've actually trying this one and then another pair that's a half size smaller. And so I tried my normal size with them, and they were my foot. I have one foot that's slightly longer, and it went all the way to the front of the toe box when I ordered my normal shoe size. And they actually I like dug into this a little bit, and that is a design feature for some folks because of the way they've designed their shoe. They that is an option for me. I'm actually still testing them out, but they've become wearable. I've gotten used to it. But I went a half size bigger, and that feels more like a traditional shoe to me, a half size bigger. So if you're not wanting to experiment and get a super snug or uh, the exact length of your foot, and you want a little space at the front of the toe box, I would recommend going a half size bigger. But yeah, I'm excited to try these out some more. And yeah, right now they have a basketball shoe, and I think they work pretty well for pickleball. And I don't know if I have a promo code with them. If I do, I'll put it in the description. It would be Matthew K. But I believe I do have a link, which may or may not have a discount tied to it. I'm not sure, but just I'm sure if I do have a link for them, it will help the channel if you use it, if you decide to buy any of their shoes. And yeah, what do you think? Do you think these look pretty spiffy, Mr.
I
Wilson?
like them. Yeah.
You like them? All right. All right. Oh, and I meant to say at the top of the video during the fit check, and remind me, Wilson, next time we do a fit check, if you guys know of any other like pickleball forward brands, let us know down in the comments. And companies, Mr. Wilson likes hats. He needs some more hats. And so if you want him to test out some headgear, let us know. Or I know if we can get that Patagonia off of him, I bet he'll test some other attire. So let us know.
Yes.
And
Send them
with
on
that,
our way.
send it. Send Wilson needs a new wardrobe, folks, and he'll test it out. And he's honest. He's honest. So only send the top notch stuff. But now it is time for Wilson to make Matthew K. Pickleball and everyone listening better at pickleball. What is the tip of the week? It is presented by BodhiPickleball. This portion is presented by BodhiPickleball. If you're looking for weight, if you're looking for edge tape, if you're looking for overgrips, check them out. Promo code MatthewK will get you the biggest discount with them. And now, take it away, Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, so my tip of the week. It's really simple, and it pertains to our kitchen game, our dinking game, or our resetting game. One thing I notice that a lot of people met. No, just kidding. Um, um,
I
they
know you're talking about me because you already told me what this is about, and I was like, dude, you're totally like roasting me right now. But like,
No,
get
I do
through it,
the same thing
Wilson.
too occasionally. One thing though is that a lot of people will tend to use their wrists thinking that they can flick their way out of trouble, or get them do some amazing spin shot at the kitchen line. And to be honest, using your wrists, flexing it, flicking it, really reduces your consistency and your reliability, the reliability of your shot. So what I would recommend is use your wrists, but only to direct the ball where you want it to go. Either you want it to be straight or over there, depending which way you're looking at it. Um, but don't use it to generate power. Use it use it to aim where you want the paddle face to go, where you want the ball to go, and then lock it into place. For example, a lot of times when I'm dinking, I'll lock it into a more or less a right angle, and then I will use the rest of my arm to create the slice or the push that's needed to get the dink over or to get the reset over. Um, yes, if you use your wrist to flick on a high ball, that's fine. But for the most part, it's not as reliable as a roll. You'll notice that if you were just to use your arm, your shoulder, and roll the ball, I guarantee you would get more consistency out of just flicking a ball. Yes, if it's a super high ball, like above your head or at your head, go ahead and flick away. You have that margin for error. For average thinking, medium height balls, try rolling, try keeping your wrists um, locked. Even if you watch the pros when they're dinking, they they keep their wrists really stationary, really locked, and they'll use their whole arm, they'll use their body to dink. Yeah, so my quick tip of the week though this week is try to keep your if you're feeling inconsistent at the kitchen line, try locking up your wrists a little bit. Try not to move it too much. Don't go flicking the ball when it's unnecessary. Yeah.
All right, folks. Mr. Wilson's tip of the week is do not play like Matthew K. Pickleball. All right, I know you can't see me, Wilson, but I was laughing through the whole thing. You're
Okay.
saying
I
like
have to
my
watch the
freaking
video.
yeah, I got like cheek strain right now. But like don't flick unless it's head high. You're out of your mind, dude. You're out of your mind. That's my whole game. But all right. Fair enough. To each his own. I'm not sure I agree with today's tip of the week, but anything that makes you more consistent, I guess I understand. I understand. I hear you. I hear you. I'm gonna mull this one over. All right. But all right, folks, you made it to the end. We made it to the end. I have no idea if Wilson's plants made it to the end since he took hostage their lights, but we'll see. But make sure you hit that like button, give us a subscribe. That all helps the channel. And don't forget, we've got giveaways for a Honolulu Notch Foam paddle, a Thrive Fury, and by the time this goes live, we probably will still have that Carbon True Foam Genesis 4. And then make sure you subscribe because we're going to be doing a giveaway for a pair of Sole Lace pickleball shoes. So definitely tune in for that. But most importantly, I hope you get to pickle soon. Wilson, do you hope these folks get to pickle soon?
I hope everybody gets a pickle soon.
Even if they're flicking?
Hey, it's still pickleball.
There you go. All right. But just don't forget, it's about having fun.